Are you having fun in your business? I mean, it should be fun, right? Well, sometimes the fun gets overlooked when you're dealing with the have-tos, the complexities of being your own boss and actually running the show. It's my goal that this, the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast, can help reignite your spark of fun by providing tips, tools, insights, and inspiration so you can enjoy running your business in the simplest, easiest, most fun way possible. I'll be sharing practical tips and ideas that you can implement immediately, along with business and money mindset insights to keep you moving forward no matter what's going on around you. I'm your host, Deirdre Amies, the Fun Business and Money Coach and founder of Powered by Personality. Let's play. Hey there, and welcome back to the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast. I'm your host, Deirdre Amies. I got a really juicy and quite personal mindset episode for you today. This actually came about from a massive aha moment that I had recently while listening to Susie Ashworth's Infinite Receiving podcast. She did an episode with the fabulous Denise Duffield-Thomas. And Denise said something that hit so deep for me that I was kind of in shock for a good 10 to 15 minutes afterwards, which is probably not a good thing because I was driving at the time. Don't worry, I wasn't zoned out. This insight was echoing around in my mind so much that I knew I had to do some work around it. So what was this insight? I am responsible for everyone and everything. That's 7 little words that packed a massive punch for me. Podcast before is how fired up and feisty I feel when I see people, women in particular, bearing the weight of responsibility. All the feels come up like, hey, that's not fair. Or why is this your responsibility or my responsibility? I can see that for others as clear as day. But it wasn't until that moment that I suddenly saw it for myself. I am responsible for everyone and everything. So what does that look like for me? I can't focus on my own business growth until everyone around me is taken care of. They're on an even keel. It's selfish of me to put my energy into my business if someone in my family is struggling in some way. And there's all kinds of variations on that, but those are the 2 key themes. Now, the perfect example of this was when we made the decision to relocate from Sydney to Brisbane, which is about 1,000 kilometres north. Our kids are adults. They're now 20 and almost 23. And by the way, yes, they came with us. They're very independent and self-sufficient in so many ways. But I also knew they'd need my support to adjust to such a massive move. It's not like we were just moving around the corner or to even a different area within Sydney. It meant new friends, new jobs, navigating a new location, setting up a new house. It's a lot of responsibility. And that's on top of coordinating the sale of one house, the purchase of another while in lockdown with state borders closed, and then the actual move, all of which I mostly handled on my own because my hubby Shay was snowed under with work at the time. Yes, I am responsible for everyone and everything. That's a big weight to carry on one person's shoulders. So if that's hitting home for you too right now, I'm sending you a big virtual hug. It might sound like nothing to some people, but damn, it is everything to other people. Now you might be wondering why this is a big deal for women. Well, it's because we've been conditioned to be the carers, the nurturers, the responsible ones. We're the homemakers. We're the raisers of children. I mean, women weren't allowed to open a bank account without a man until the the mid-1970s. Women weren't allowed to take out a mortgage without a man until the 1970s either. That is so ridiculous. It's so annoying. Apparently, we're not responsible enough to handle money. But somehow we're more than responsible enough to handle literally everything else. And it's even more so if you had to step up and take responsibility for your siblings at a young age for countless reasons. There's an expectation that because you're a woman, you'll be a great housekeeper and a great cook. We all know that's not true. There are always going to be certain responsibilities and obligations as a functioning member of society. That's an important distinction to make. You did something wrong? You bear responsibility for that. Your obligation is to clean it up and minimize the impact on your fellow humans. There's obligations to your employer as well. You're responsible for showing up on time, doing your work, and contributing to the running of the company. But what else do you feel responsible for? Where do you feel energetically pulled to handle things, to manage things, to take on tasks that really aren't in your skill set, let alone in your zone of genius? Your zone of genius is something that you can do, you love it, it's effortless, and it makes your heart sing. Anything outside of that can probably be handled better by someone else. That stuff is not your job. It's not your responsibility. You don't have to keep sacrificing your own joy and happiness in service to others. I was going to say for the demands of others, but often the responsibility we bear hasn't even been asked for. Nobody demanded it. We simply put our hands up and say, I've got it, I'll handle that. Put your hands down. In fact, sit on your hands and zip your mouth shut so you don't utter those words without considering whether this is actually your responsibility to deal with it. This is about creating and enforcing healthy boundaries for yourself. It's okay to say, no, that doesn't work for me. Someone else is better suited to this task. That right there was such an epiphany for me in that moment, realizing that I don't have to be responsible for everyone and everything. I can't control your enjoyment or experience of life. That's on you. I can control mine. That's on me. It's not on you. So this whole thing had a flow-on effect to my recent birthday. My one request, was to have the day to myself. I mean, everyone else was at work anyway. I wanted to do whatever I wanted and to have no responsibility for anyone else, including cooking dinner or even deciding what we were going to have. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way, and there was some resentment to work through around that. But the big gift in all of it was that very first step of acknowledging that I am actually not responsible for everyone and everything. And I don't feel guilty about it at all. Feeling guilty about enforcing boundaries, saying no, feeling like you're letting someone down, like you're being selfish, all of that is completely natural. Just feel the feelings, recognize them for what they are. Think of them like an echo of the past, maybe not even your past. It could be a hangover from generations back. Women were made to feel guilty for wanting more in life than raising a family and tending the home. We still are, and it needs to stop. And that happens when we stop allowing someone else's opinion or beliefs about what we're responsible for to make us feel bad or stupid or anything other than loved and supported as a human being. So how can you apply this to your business and money? You can strip everything back to basics. Get rid of anything and everything that feels like a heavy weight of responsibility on you. If you can't eliminate it, delegate or outsource it to someone else who's better suited to it. All those things that you've accepted responsibility for, they're really not in your wheelhouse. If you're not tech-minded, ditch that responsibility and hand it over to someone better suited to it. If you don't love data or crunching the numbers, I certainly don't, hand that bookkeeping and the analytics over to someone else. And I want you to write this down. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. That's not your job. It's not your responsibility, okay? You create more space to breathe when you release the weight of responsibility for everyone and everything. You create more space for the things you say you want to do, but you never have the time or energy for. You create more space for new clients, more money, more growth, more fun. You are not responsible for everyone or everything, my friend. So, that's what I got for you today. Like I said at the start, a little deep and personal, but it's a very practical mindset insight for you nonetheless. If this has hit home and brought some stuff up for you, get out your journal and jot down your thoughts. That's what I did when it hit me. It was a holy shit download of epic proportions. And then I tapped through it. So head on back to episode 24 if you want to know more about releasing the negative energy and turning your day around using tapping or EFT. Or, you could just tick off another episode of the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast and carry on with your day. Totes up to you. It's not my responsibility to make sure that you do something with it. Take care. Have fun ditching any and all unnecessary responsibilities, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me. If you found this episode useful, make sure you hit that follow button on your chosen podcast platform so you get the notifications when each new episode goes live and you don't miss anything. If you know someone who would also get something from it, don't be shy, share it with them. One of the best things about being a business coach for online entrepreneurs is helping them make sense of their creative ideas and turn them into a simple, clear business system that actually makes money. A client recently described me as a castle building expert. You've got the big vision and some of the building materials already, but you don't quite know how to bring it all together into a solid foundation. Then I come along and I show you the blueprint that makes sense of it all. I love that analogy. And I'd love to show you your personalized blueprint, the one that's just right for you and your clients. But I can't do that until you join Ignite, my business and money coaching program. So head on over to deirdreamies.com/ignite for all the details. Fill out the application form and let's talk about building your castle in the simplest, easiest way possible.